Hey guys, what's up? It's munclesonkey, and this is going to be a Celestial Dragon killing slash Slayer guide. And before we get into the killing and the setup, because we will get into those things later, we want to look at some stats. And also, before you can get this task assigned from Kuradel, you need to finish the Grandmaster quest One of a Kind. It has quite a few level 70 skill requirements, not a whole lot of quests required to kill it. There are a whole bunch of optional quests for additional rewards in One of a Kind. These quests are not required for Celestial Dragons. You just need the quest done. Takes about an hour, it's not that bad, and you get a lot of XP from the quest as well, so it's definitely worth doing. So now that we look at Celestial Dragons themselves, they're about 150 to 170k XP per hour. 170 is kind of a high amount, but that's about as much as you're going to get as long as you are picking up drops. If you're using a Bone Crusher Ami, you can get more than that. Just remember, with all my Slayer XP rates, I do pick up drops. If you don't pick up drops, you can get faster XP rates than I can, because you save a lot of time not running around picking them up. 150k an hour is more what you can expect using like tier 80 weapons. 170 is more what you can expect using tier 90 weapons. The profit per hour is about 2 mil to 4 mil. It is a wide range because they do drop Visages and Dragon Rider pieces. If you don't get one of those during a task, you're going to expect more around 2 to 2.5 mil in a task. And if you do get a Visage, or possibly even 2 Visages, because Visages are very common here, expect more around 4 mil, maybe even more than that in a task. Also, the charms are very good. You can get around 220 crimsons an hour. It's not Water Fiend's rate good, but it is extremely good crimsons, and Celestials are not only a long task, which makes camping them good XP per task, very, very good XP per task, but they're also very high in all three of these statistics, which make them one of the best Slayer tasks that Kuradel assigns, and definitely worth doing that one-of-a-kind quest to unlock. So the gear setup that you'll be using for Celestial Dragons will be range. There isn't really much of an option here. You kind of have to go with range. Melee, you can melee them, but the Celestial Dragons have high damage with their melee attacks. They hit like 700s and 800s constantly. With range, they cannot damage you because you'll be using super anti-fire potions, and they only use their Dragon Breath on you if you stand at range, just like Steel or Iron Dragons would. Also, Mage isn't really a viable option, since even with level 90 Mage weapons, you'll still splash here just because they have an extremely high Mage defense, so range is really the way to go. Noxious Longbow is the best weapon against Celestial Dragons since they're weak to arrows. However, if you don't have a Noxious Longbow, you can go with Ascensions and Dragonbane Bolts. I will have a link to my Dragonbane Bolts guide on screen if you don't know how to make them. They're extremely useful against all dragons, including QBD and any other kind of dragon that has high defense. If you don't have any level 90 range weapons, the next best thing to use would be a Zerite Bow, and alternatively after that, I would recommend a Royal Crossbow or Chaotic Crossbows with Dragonbane Bolts. If you don't have Dragonbane Bolts and you don't have a Zerite Bow, it's still a good task to do. Just be aware that you will splash some, and you will also get stuck by the Celestial's Time Freeze attack. It stuns you for a few seconds when you can't attack. It's not that big of a deal. It slows down the kills a little bit, but it's still definitely worth doing. And then for your inventory, just bring Extreme Range or Super Ranging if you don't have it, and some Super Anti-Fire Potions, and a Yak. If you don't have 96 Summoning, just remember Magic Note Paper to note the Dragon Bones. And then for your armor, I would just recommend Power Armor. The armor you wear isn't very important since you won't be taking damage if you have the Super Anti-Fires. And if you don't have Super Anti-Fires, just drink regular Anti-Fire and bring a full Beast of Burden full of food, and also pray Mage, and you won't take too much damage from their attack. You will have to bank, but it's not too far away from a bank, and it's not that much of a hassle to bank if you are doing Celestial Dragons. So getting to Celestial Dragons is quite easy if you've done One of a Kind. You just want to use your Ectophile to teleport to the Ectofunctus, and we'll go into Port Sarim, and as long as you have an Ectophile, you don't have to worry about tokens to get into the city of Port Phasmatis or anything. Also, it's very handy to have completed the hard Mauritania task, and you won't need a Ghostpeak Ami if you do. But if you haven't completed the hard Mauritania task, just remember to bring a Ghostpeak Amulet along with you in your inventory, as you will need it to get to Dragontooth Island. Just equip it before you travel on the Ghost Captain, and if you forgot it, there's a bank right here, so it's not that big of a deal. The inventory setup that you see right here, I have 5 Super Anti-Fire Potions. I can normally do an entire Celestial task only using 3 of them. However, if you have lower stats, you're not able to kill them as quickly, and it'll take you, well over an hour to finish this task. It's safer to bring more of them. I also typically bring 2 Yaks, even though it's very rare when I need both of them, but just in case I get distracted and don't kill Celestial Dragons that fast for some reason, I like to bring 2 Yaks just in case, because I really don't want to have 1 Yak disappear on me and then not be able to bank the last 10 or 15 Dragon Bones. So the way you kill Celestials is very, very easy. I just Revolution them personally. This task is actually kind of AFK somewhat. You don't really have to pay full attention. What I typically like to do is I like to use rapid fire and snapshot on a celestial dragon kill, and for the most part you'll be able to use both of those abilities per kill, although sometimes you won't be able to use one of them because of cooldown time. But if you have at least Dragonbane bolts, you should be able to easily kill the celestials before they time stop you. If they do time stop you, basically you'll be just stunned for 5 seconds, unable to attack. Just make sure you click on the celestial dragon after the time stop stops, and you'll be able to kill him after that. It's just an annoyance, and it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't do any damage to you or anything. So that's pretty much how you kill him, and be prepared for epic XP and epic crimson charms. So this task took 55 minutes, and I made a little over 2 mil, nice little 202 crimson charms, and about 145k Slayer XP in a little under an hour, which is very, very good. It could have been faster, of course, but, you know, celestial dragons are kind of AFK. I will be the first person to admit that. Overall, this task is extremely worth doing. I would not recommend ever skipping this task. Very good XP, very good charms, pretty good money. So that's about all for this guide. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see any more, I have a link to that on the screen, and hopefully I will have a guide for every single task Kuratilla assigns sometime in the future. So that's about all for this video. I'm hyped for Boss Slayer. See you guys then. Farewell.